What's your story? What's your sign? You're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive.
Many strides, one dream. Many heartbeats, one pulse. Sagicor, celebrating Jamaican success. The time by Sagicor is
7 o'clock. Tonight in CVM News at 7, JDF soldier shot and killed in Denham Town confrontation with armed men. Man and bystander injured after a police shooting on Bond Street. Elderly couple shot, husband dead following Westmoreland home invasion. Also in the news, VAS demands full refund from JPS until OUR reviews latest bill hikes. In the business news, French BPO branches out west. And in sports, Harold Thomas sacked as head coach of Mount Pleasant, with Tapper Whitmore set for stunning return. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. I am Caroline Brown. This Friday, August 23, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. A Kingston community is mourning after a young soldier was killed in the Denham Town zone of special operation early Friday. His grieving parents, who lost an only son, are demanding answers about the circumstances surrounding his death. Here's more from Ramon Gordon.
That's 20-year-old Private E.J. Domville dancing with his mother. A moment of joy turned to sorrow.
My son good enough. I need to investigate. Oh God. He says just so much. 20 years old. My son respected him. Can't go so. Oh God. Can't go so.
Today his family and comrades are grappling with the devastating loss of a young life cut short in the line of duty. It was almost 1:30 a.m. on Friday, August 23, when Private Domville and his unit were on foot patrol in this area. What started as a routine operation turned deadly when they encountered a group of armed men. In the ensuing exchange, Private Domville was struck in the face. Despite efforts, he was pronounced dead at Kingston Public Hospital.
The investigations continue, and we continue in pursuit of these persons, the perpetrators, so to speak, and we will definitely continue to be professional in what we do under the auspices of internal security operations, where justification, acting within the law, and proportionality is first and foremost.
The young private's death today sparked a protest in Dehaney Park, his home, where residents are demanding answers.
When me see picture this morning, cause all me hear soldier dead, me no know who. And this morning me dey on my life. And me I said to my son, say the soldier we dead. Me see picture. When me see picture, me have to end my life.
Loving, nice. Me know EJ from EJ I go high school. Smile. And our mother dead fear. Our mother, our only son, you know, our only son, and she need justice.
Private Domville's death comes as security forces ramp up their efforts against criminality locally. That, following 2 recent mass shootings, one in Point Hill, St. Catherine, and another in Cherry Tree Lane, Clarendon.
I need to tell you what happened on spot. Because them know, they must know.
Just feel a way about the situation. I just wish the place could have come back, but it don't look like it have come back. Said I'd come, it have go.
Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
And in a tense follow-up to the tragic killing of Private Domville, the violence continued just hours later on Upper Bond Street, where police shot and injured a man who allegedly attacked an officer with a knife. The injured civilian is now in hospital under police guard. In that same incident, a passerby was also struck by the policeman's bullet as he fired at the alleged attacker. Sources indicate the bystander's condition is serious, adding another layer of concern to an already fraught situation.
The matter is still being investigated and is sensitive at that point. We'll allow the investigation to unfold. And of course, what is important now is that we rally around the JDF, the JCF and the family of the deceased.
Of course, we'll continue to bring you the updates as they become available. And the police are probing the circumstances surrounding a shooting incident that left a couple dead in St. Elizabeth Friday morning. A motive for the attack is not yet known, and the police are appealing for further information. Courtney Lewis reports on that incident.
Investigations are underway by the St. Elizabeth Police in relation to the murder of a couple along Mango Walk Lane on Friday morning. 62-year-old craft vendor Sharon Calder and her partner, 53-year-old farmer Richard Foster, were walking along the lane when gunshots rang out, hitting them both. Shortly after, residents notified the police.
At about 3:45 a.m., the couple was on their way out of this lane. It is understood that the female is a craft vendor and sells in the Montego Bay craft market. The common law spouse was assisting her out when gunshots were heard. Residents stumbled upon the body and summoned the police. On arrival at the scene, we found the lifeless body of the lady lying in the middle of the road, face down. The gentleman was some distance away in the bushes.
The incident has left residents in shock as the mountainside community had not seen this violence until now.
This is a community that is not known for violence. In fact, we have not had any major crime in this community for well over a year now. And so the residents of this area are very concerned and certainly not accustomed to this type of incident in this space.
He is making a plea for information.
So we're appealing to anyone who may have any information at all on this gruesome act to share with the police. You can call 119, Crime Start at 311, or the Black River Police Station. Any information at all that you have, doesn't matter how slight it is or how minor you think it is, please share it with the police.
Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
And there was more bloodshed across the island. An elderly Westmoreland couple was shot during a violent home invasion on Thursday evening. As Britannia Witter reports, the woman is battling for life, but her spouse did not survive.
An elderly taxi operator was shot dead and his wife injured during a home invasion in Westmoreland on Thursday evening. The deceased has been identified as 70-year-old Renald Madden of Water Lane District, Georges Plain in Westmoreland. Reports are that at about 6:30 p.m., the couple was at home when a gunman on a motorcycle entered through their front door. The gunman then proceeded to the couple's bedroom and opened gunfire, hitting them both before escaping on a motorcycle. Member of Parliament candidate for Westmoreland Central, Dwayne Vaz, condemned the attack.
It is really a sad day in the community of Georges Plain. The person who died is somebody we know very well also, because he has worked for us as a driver in different elections.
He called for the authorities to do more in tackling crime, as persons speculate the cause of the shooting.
For the crime situation in Westmoreland, it is getting out of hand again. We are asking the authorities, mainly the police and the government, to ensure they put the necessary things in place to curb this system of violence that is about to start up. Based on the investigation and what some sources are telling us, this is linked to something that happened previously. So we want to ensure that no reprisals happen. So we need extra police presence in this community so that law-abiding citizens can feel safe in the communities that they live in.
Law enforcement are investigating the incident. Britannia Witter, CVM News.
And in this update now, police in Clarendon are continuing their complete assault on gangs following the Cherry Tree Lane massacre in 4 parts. After a series of operations in the parish, 2 men have been charged in relation to the massacre, with more investigations ongoing. Courtney Lewis has the latest.
The police crackdown on Clarendon continues after the Cherry Tree Lane massacre of August 11 that left 8 people dead and 9 injured. Senior Superintendent Shane McCullough, head of the Clarendon Police Division, says since the implementation of the state of emergency, the authorities have conducted targeted operations, with 2 people charged in connection to the deadly event.
Since the start of the SOE, we have been pursuing a number of other persons outside of the 2 persons that have been charged, and that operation is ongoing. And we expect that during the pursuit that other persons related to this tragic incident will be caught and brought to justice in short order.
He had an apt warning for criminals, adding the latest police criminal confrontation resulted in the death of 1 man.
I would like to take this opportunity to appeal to persons who choose to engage in criminal activities, and when we go after them, which we will, and they then decide to engage the police in a gunfight, I want to tell you that there can be only one outcome.
But he recommends a peaceful surrender.
And I'm asking persons to cooperate, and if you find yourself in that category, please surrender and allow us to take you in peacefully so you can have your day in court.
To ensure residents' comfort and safety, McCullough says the police clampdown and attack on gangs will continue, along with support for victims related to the crime.
So we just want to reassure the public that we are continuing the hunt for these men, whether they're in Clarendon or they're outside the borders of the parish. We will continue to carry out the operations as needed and as necessary to ensure that the citizens of Clarendon remain safe and secure to carry out their business and live in peace.
Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
And we will continue with CVM News at 7 right after this.
I go show them my way of justice.
I'm abused.
I need legal advice. I don't deserve this.
The truth of the matter is, justice there for all of we. The Ministry of Justice has trained more than 5,600 persons in restorative justice practices. More than 200,000 victims have been supported by the victim services. Legal aid has reached thousands island-wide. Make we talk it out, not fight it out. Call 888 Justice today.
Our days get a little complex sometimes. Often so many things make sense, yet so many do not. We are being intentional about giving prominence to the big stories in order to clarify and enlighten. Lead Story explains who, what, when, where, why, and how. Lead Story with George Davis, weekdays at 6:30 p.m. on CVM TV.
Look who we have in the cut. No, today episode I got nice. Legends, Senator, my longtime brethren, the great, all-star, the king, and the man himself. Salute! You know, as man, we're not too go specialist, and that's the pinnacle of the problem. We want some new era. Do what you love and you never work a day in your life. Lie! You work till you win. It was pandemonium. Country people can't relate to me I talk about.
What you think about me no matter, you know. What matter to me is what me think about myself.
Man United, you know. I don't care what man want to say.
You know, man. Yeah, man. You know, man. You finished?
Yes, we finished.
The Cut is brought to you by Flow and Guinness.
As we welcome you back, here's another CVM News follow-up on blue carbon ecosystems. The government's policies were brought to the fore as part of continuing efforts to conserve and restore mangroves and seagrass along the island's coast. Adrian Williams has more on that coastal project.
With global temperatures rising due to climate change, this natural phenomenon impacts all aspects of life, including the useful and scenic views of blue carbon ecosystems, or coastal life as we may know it. Climate Change Program Manager Loreen Jones explains how the current project to protect mangroves and seagrass is expected to contribute to the nationally determined contributions NDCs by 2025.
We're also required to do a legislative gap assessment. So we're going to look at Jamaica's institutional framework to see if there are any areas that we could recommend for improvement in the legislation and the policies to ensure that we can effectively manage resources holistically.
And the importance of knowing the amount of carbon is for what in particular?
So the importance of knowing is so that we can know what resource that we have, how to protect it, and how to possibly leverage it to obtain financing from international donor agencies to help to protect our resources, to help the country to mitigate and adapt to the effects of climate change that the country will experience and is already experiencing.
But without proper legislative infrastructure in place to protect these ecosystems, deterioration will continue at a more rapid rate. Lead scientist at the Nature Conservancy, Steve Schill, believes the island's damaged mangroves can be restored.
And we know in Jamaica, there was a World Bank study that was done, and we've lost about 800 hectare in the past 20 years. And so a lot of those areas, I think 70% of those areas, they determined could be restored. And so we want to protect what we have, restore what we've lost, because these are the assets that we can really leverage for climate mitigation. And Jamaica can receive funding to help support the management and monitoring of mangroves.
Schill is urging the government to take the next step.
Well, I just hope that this product that we're producing provides a good roadmap to a sustainable future, and that policy is developed that helps protect and restore mangroves throughout Jamaica.
Adrian Williams for CVM News.
Now, the government is still awaiting a response from the Jamaica Public Service, the JPS, regarding the recent increase in electricity bills amid growing concerns about the impact on Jamaicans who are struggling with a rising cost of living. As the government calls for a full rollback of the recent increases, questions arise regarding the JPS's compliance with its license provisions and the role of the Office of Utilities Regulation, the OUR, in the matter. In a statement on Friday, Energy Minister Darrell Vaz voiced serious concerns around the utility company's absence of a proposal.
The government of Jamaica is still awaiting word from the JPS concerning the proposal to ease the burdens on the Jamaicans with the recent bills. The position of the government of Jamaica remains a full rollback of the increases. I'm also concerned about word emerging that the OUR was blindsided concerning the increases. If this is so, that is unacceptable and raises questions about JPS's compliance with provisions of its license, and it also raises serious questions about the OUR's level of vigilance. What I can say, the information that I'm receiving, which I have written to the JPS and now I've written to the OUR in relation to questions concerning whether or not the OUR was consulted as is required by the license and the Act to consult and get approval for any significant rate increases.
Now, Minister Vaz adds if the OUR was not properly consulted as required by the JPS's license, it strengthens the government's case for a full rollback of the increases, including a possible refund or credit to affected customers.
If this, what I'm hearing, has not been done, I have not gotten it officially from the OUR or the JPS, only through the media, then if this was not done, then it even strengthens my case for a full rollback of the recent increases, a refund or a credit to those who have paid, and that nothing should be confirmed or concluded until the OUR reviews the recent increases. And that is my stringent position.
Meanwhile, the Office of Utilities Regulation, the OUR, has directed the Jamaica Public Service Company, the JPS, to reduce some customers' bills in the next billing cycle and reissue August bills that showed zero consumption but still charged a fee after customers complained about significant bill increase in August. The OUR has launched an investigation and ordered JPS to lower September bills by reflecting fuel cost differences from July. Customers with bill increases over 5% are urged to report their concerns directly to JPS. The OUR is urging customers to contact them if you are not satisfied with JPS's response, you are told to pay the bill or the service will be disconnected, or you have received no response from JPS within 30 working days. Opposition spokesperson on energy, Philip Powell, is adamant the government is not tightening its grip enough on the Jamaica Public Service and the Office of Utilities Regulation. Speaking with CVM News, he expressed there's much more the government and the agencies can do. Trisha Gay Kelly reports. I'm sorry we do not have that report for you. Why don't we take a quick break and come right back? Stay with us, please.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them. This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Protect yourself from the bite of this mosquito.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
John Mark!
Celine, what going? We can't say we're a friend now. Celine. We have to take on the road.
Yeah, man, we have to take out the same way. All right, Lord, thank you so much for this day.
Me, I do the work. Yeah. And the people, them accept it. Clarendon, Mandeville. But now we get to go into the inner city of Kingston.
I can't wait to learn more as we go across Jamaica into different churches to understand what they do.
Welcome back. A new business processing outsourcing center has officially opened its doors in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland, making a significant milestone for the Western Parish's economic development. Britannia Witter has that story.
The wait is over as business processing outsourcing BPO giant Teleperformance set up a new branch in Westmoreland. Teleperformance, a French multinational business processing outsourcing company, was founded in 1978. Speaking at a recent ribbon-cutting ceremony, Senior Vice President of Operations and Country Manager at Teleperformance Jamaica, Jake Becker, says the company's performance is a result of the work of the employees.
The relentless effort and the energy given by our facilities team, the engagement team, and the leadership team is paid off. One of the best measurements of success is to prove that you've created an amazing employee experience, and we elevate the company to an employer of choice.
Custos of Westmoreland, Reverend Hartley Perrin, lauded the company for creating a safe space for workers through trade unions.
It is very clear that this company recognizes the virtue of having external forces come in to ensure that they look out for the workers. I'm excited about that. And I wish that more companies would follow suit in terms of allowing the unions to come in.
The ribbon-cutting ceremony was attended by several guests and stakeholders, including members of the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation. Britannia Whittle, CVM News.
Ahead of another break, let's look at the markets.
In the cut. No, today episode I got nice. Legends, Senator, my longtime brethren, the great, all-star, the king, and the man himself. Salute! You know, as man, we're not to go as specialists, and that's the pinnacle of the problem. We want some new era. Do what you love and you never work a day in your life. Lie! You work till you win. It was pandemonium. Country people can't relate to me I talk about.
What you think about me no matter, you know. What matter to me is what me think about myself.
Man United, you know. I don't care what man want to say.
You know, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, man.
You finished?
Yes, we finished.
The Cut is brought to you by Flo and Guinness.
How would you describe the people of St. Elizabeth in one word?
The people of St. Elizabeth are very hardworking.
Article.
Peaceful.
Independent.
Loving set of people.
Final trouble send the people in trouble.
To all the hardworking, article, peaceful, independent, and loving people of St. Elizabeth, JPS is working to make sure you all have power by August 31. That is our commitment to you.
The International internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Our days get a little complex sometimes. Often so many things make sense, yet so many do not. We are being intentional about giving prominence to the big stories in order to clarify and enlighten. Lead Story explains who, what, when, where, why, and how. Lead Story with George Davis, weekdays at 6:30 p.m. on CVM TV.
Together it puts you in a good mood. Every moment we share is finger licking good.
The time by KFC is
7:30.
We welcome you back with a recap of some of our major stories. Kingston community is mourning after a young soldier was killed. The Denham Town zone of special operation early Friday. His grieving parents, who lost an only son, are demanding answers about the circumstances surrounding his death. The police shot and injured a man on Upper Bond Street who allegedly attacked an officer with a knife. The injured civilian is now in hospital under police guard. And police in Clarendon are continuing their complete assault on gangs following the Cherry Tree Lane massacre in 4 parts. After a series of operations in the parish, 2 men have been charged in relation to the massacre, with more investigations ongoing. And now we flip through our social media pages.
What's making waves on the internet today? Charlton Athletic signs 19-year-old Jamaican forward Kaheem Dixon on a 4-year deal. This follows his 8 appearances for Jamaica, in which he scored 2 goals, and he was also featured in this year's Copa America. Here are some of your reactions to the news. At O'Neil J28 writes, "Ma happy for this youth, Jano." At _Sean_MG comments, "The entire nation proud youth." At Kimani_ posts, "Anywhere in the world the Jamaicans go, they leave an impact. I am pretty sure Kaheem will be leaving his impact at Charlton Athletic FC. Let's go, lad." At LG Sniper Sports shares, "Good luck, and I wish you 20 goals and assists." At If Only They Knew adds, "Congrats, future is very bright for this young talent. Just to stay focused and don't let family or yard pressure you for the little money you're making." At Nextdoor_Bailey says, "Love when any young Jamaican gets opportunities like this." At Big Bad Brass comments, "He hasn't even kicked a ball, and I already love him. He seems like a good egg. Go on, Kaheem." Let's keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts on the latest topics with us on X at CVM TV and Instagram at CVM_television. I'm Ronaldo Adams.
Thanks, Ronaldo. Now it's time for regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. Venezuela's Supreme Justice Tribunal ratified President Nicolas Maduro's victory in the July 28 presidential election, sealing institutional backing for the ruling party as the disputed contest fades from the international headlines. Here's more from Reuters.
After weeks of heated dispute, Venezuela's Supreme Court has certified President Nicolas Maduro's election win. The vote sparked deadly anti-government protests, followed by what human rights groups have called a crackdown on dissent by Maduro's administration. There have been arrests of opposition figures and protesters, along with forced resignations of state employees with alleged pro-opposition views. On Thursday, Chief Justice Caraslia Rodriguez said the Supreme Tribunal had reviewed material from the Electoral Authority and that Maduro's win was valid. The opposition party, however, says the Supreme Court has no constitutional right to carry out any electoral functions, making its ruling null.
The United Kingdom and businesses from that country are keen on supporting Guyana's ambitious renewable energy goals. So says His Majesty's Trade Commissioner to Latin America and the Caribbean, Jonathan Knott, who was in Guyana this week for business talks. More from Newsroom Guyana.
We're looking at all of those opportunities, whether it's in terms of transport links, whether it's in terms of infrastructure for health and education, whether it's in terms of energy, all of the things that Guyana needs to grow in the way the government and I think the Guyanese people want it to grow.